let's watch things I hate about living in the US. Rah! Rah!
America.
Rah! Guns! Burgers! Freedom! Guns! Army! Cars! Burgers! Snakes!
Land of the free, home of the brave, and the place where I spent 9 years of my life. It is a vast country with diverse landscapes, gigantic cities with millions of people from all walks of life, which truly makes the country a place like no other, because of which there's so many things to love about it. However, this video is not about that, but all the things that really soured my pickle while living in the country. If you want me to do a part 2 about all the things I loved about living in the US, let me know in the comment section down below.
How it is to live in America,
without further ado, let's begin. Now, one of the first things that really went up my nerves while living in a land of cardiovascular complications is the weather. Before you say anything, yes, America is a
Isn't it like all hot? Isn't it like always hot?
Country with a bunch of different climates and biomes where the weather can vary quite drastically from state to state. However, that's not gonna stop me from bitching. I, like any other Eastern European immigrant who is too poor to afford living in New York or LA, ended up in the Midwest, more precisely, the Great Lakes region. And the absolute worst part about living there was the goddamn weather. If you're a person whose favorite season is winter and watching it outside of your window while snuggle up in your little blankie with a hot beverage by your side, after moving to the Midwest you will despise it with a passion. On average, each winter the region gets between 100 to 120 centimeters of snowfall. If it gets hit with a polar vortex, like it is often known to happen, you can expect even more, going anywhere between 200
I don't like when it's too snowy. In Romania, sometimes it gets pretty snowy, but in the UK, it snows once per year. And I will let you guys know, when I get my 1 yearly snow, I will tell you guys. I'll be like, guys, look, it's the 1 year snow, 1 day of snow per year. And then you will watch as I will never do that for the rest of the winter, because for the past 5 years, it has not snowed more than 1 time per winter. 1 time per winter is what we get. One time, cha. 1 time, and that's it.
4 to 317 centimeters. And let me tell you, there's nothing like seeing a bunch of this white bullshit falling from the heavens that will ruin my day. Instead of feeling comfy at home, you're forced to get your ass out and spend the next several hours shoveling the bullshit off the sidewalk so you can get Saul Goodman called up on your ass.
I guess that's why Americans have shoveling... Americans have shoveling snow culture, where it's like you know, you get paid to shovel snow or stuff like that. I mean, it's new in Romanian, but like, since at least where I lived in Bucharest, it's not really houses, it's like buildings. No one shovels the snow, man. It did snow though.
Some bozo who doesn't know how to walk slips on your property and breaks his skull and somehow makes it your fault. And you know,
ouchies,
this wouldn't be that bad if you had to do it so often. But as it snows so much, more often than not, you have to get out and clear the driveway and sidewalk several times in a day and spend even more time clearing the sack of white shit. Also, because this region is incredibly car dependent, you with no surprise have to use your car daily to basically go anywhere.
Oh, damn.
And because Eve had to eat that goddamn apple in the Garden of Eden, God just had to curse the region with this crap. So when you're driving on the freeway, or hell, even the streets, when it starts snowing, it becomes incredibly dangerous, as your car can go into an autistic meltdown and crash into the closest traffic light. You get fined for not shoveling snow? That's crazy. On a somewhat daily basis, in your commute, you can see turned over cars in the winter that lost control due to the ice and snow on the roads. And of course, the city service do clean the snow and defrost the ice. But again, it snows so frequently that sometimes there's just that risk of that happening, because of which I perfectly sympathize and empathize with this man who used a flamethrower to clear this.
Okay, that's peak though. That's peak. Let this be legal. Let it be legal.
Crap off his driveway. I salute you, Kentucky man. And of course, a lot of parts of America don't even have snow. However, they have the sun and scorching temperatures that even melts the street signs. Unless you live in a certain couple of spots with perfect climate in the country, you most likely will have some grievances with nature. Now, I'm sure this one's gonna ruffle up some non-existent feathers.
It is legal? Wait, I thought it was on the news because he got arrested. Thank God he didn't.
It's my video and I can talk about whatever I want. And no, Dad, it's not just a phase. YouTube is a real job. I don't want to go into finance. You can't make me. Anyways, ever since like the 1920s or so, America has been in a culture war, which encompasses a wide variety of political issues that has progressively evolved and become ever so prominent in day-to-day life in the country. Particularly since 2012 and the adoption of the internet and social media into everyday life, it too has become quite prevalent and practically unavoidable in your everyday life, especially if you live in a big city. Essentially, everyone and everything is constantly trying to shove their political beliefs down your throat, be it via Black Lives Matter banners and pride flags hanging on storefronts, lawn signs saying Trump 2024, or a bumper of a car being showered in political stickers.
Yeah, I feel like Americans are way more loud about politics. Like, in Romania, right, you just get like the occasional sign of like, oh, I'm running for fucking, you know, thingy, you should vote for me. But, most people don't give, like, there's no riots because of, like, political, like, no, if there's riots, it's because, like, it's, like, either people that are, like, not paid enough, that are, like, protesting that, or, you know, like, if there's something fucked up in the government, that would be a riot for that, but there's not really people that are, like, oh, we hate that these people think this.
Or libs or whoever the hell. As a militant centrist, it is quite annoying to be constantly exposed to political beliefs of strangers who just have to tell the world despite no one asking. And if this was just the case with stupid stickers and signs, that would be fine. However, both at school and work in America, you also get this culture war bullshit shoved down your throat. For example, when I was in my junior year in high school, I had this English teacher who on the first day of the school year asked us to write an essay about ourselves. I wrote one about what my passions are, my hobbies, and stuff like that. When I got back my essay, I got a grade lower from an A because I didn't write about my experience of being Serbian, which the teacher wrote on my paper.
Dude.
Now, I didn't mention anything in the essay about my...
I've had this happen to me in UK university where I had some projects and my professors were like, you know, this is fun, but we wish to hear more about your experience as like your heritage. And I'm like, no, but I didn't want to write about that. Like, dude.
Nationality, and the teacher only knew of it because she asked me where I was from because she noticed my accent. And it's something that really pissed me off because ultimately the other shit about me didn't seem to matter just because my experience as X group. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Throughout my school years, I've had numerous different teachers in high school where one announced we're not even gonna go over American writers in our literature class because, and I quote, they're white old men and there's already enough literature from their point of view. And regardless of class, be it English, history, psychology, or whatever, the teachers would bring up identity politics, the elections, Orange Man bad, etc. And I really despised it. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having strong political beliefs, but man, I came to school to learn, not to have some fucking middle-aged person's political beliefs shoved down my throat and have to look at political banners in my state-run school, which I'm obligated to spend 6 hours of my day in. At work, this also happened, although not as extremely. Yeah, you'd have your sensitivity training, and if you worked at some more
better than boring
office,
literature.
You'd have some other type of culture war, political BS training as well. but it mainly manifested via the coworkers often bringing up these topics, which wasn't as bad as in other aspects of daily life, but still annoying. Speaking of work, since I was 15, I worked a variety of service jobs in the US up until I was 18 when I left. Throughout that time, one of the things that really got on my nerves was the work culture and etiquette. A lot of the times, the managers they had egos large enough to reach the moon.
I've heard that work culture in the UK in the US is pretty ruthless. Like, I'm damn well aware that your boss doesn't really give a shit about you, but my bosses, like my managers, at least pretend to, you know? Like, when it's someone's birthday, they buy them stuff for their birthday, and they're like, oh, if you don't want to work on your birthday, that's fine. You know, then they do check-ins and stuff, and they're like, are you right? You know, how are you guys doing? You know? And I don't know if it's to fill in some quota or something, but I do think like the way I hear it from Americans, it feels a bit different. Like, I've never felt fully dehumanized at work, and I work retail, so that should tell you something. I work retail, and I've not felt dehumanized at work. Like, I still feel like I'm a human being that can make some choices at least. Which I've not gotten the vibe from most American workers. Work culture in the US is weird. It's good if you want to make a lot of money, but it's not chill at all.
They acted as if they were training a platoon of elite Navy SEALs and not managing a team of 16-year-old cashiers and shelf stockers at Walmart who were just there to make enough money to buy a used up 2007 Toyota. The lower management would take their positions way too seriously and definitely look down on you because, hey, they earn just a couple more dollars than you. At the workplace, they and also the bosses would insist you constantly do something even if the place was deader than a 70-year-old uterus. They'd love to say things such as, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean, and other similar slogans.
The fact that US cashiers cannot sit down is crazy to me though. Cause we have chairs at the tills where I work at though. Like, the fact that you can't sit down, dude. Oh, dude. Jeez Louise.
For contrast, before my channel blew up, at the places I worked in Serbia, including McDonald's and an accounting office, the management was much more chill and acted as one of the crew rather than above it. If there was nothing to do, no one would scream at you to pretend to be busy.
Clearly they don't actually care about you that much, but at least they treat you like a human being. They don't treat you like a thing that like works for them, and that's all your purpose, right?
To save some sort of face. Sure, the salaries were a complete joke, but your employers would treat you with much more dignity. The other thing about work culture that particularly sucks is the forced happiness. If you work in the service industry in America, you are forced to put on a smile, make small talk with the customers and pretend like you care about whatever they have to say. As at restaurants, the servers come and check up on you every 10 to 15 minutes to see if you need anything.
What? They do that? Wait. Chat, is this real? Do servers actually check in every 10 minutes in America? Cause that's crazy. I would hate that. Yes, they do. 20 to 30, but yes. Yes, dude, in here, at least in Romania, you order something, you get it. And then if you want to pay, you have to literally go through hoops to find the server again. You either catch them and wave them over or run after them. That feels creepy. Why not just wave at them? Yeah. They get told to. Managers say it's customer service. That's what I'm saying. That's fucked up. I would be so annoyed if like every 10 minutes or 20 minutes even, with someone coming, are you right? No, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
It's quite annoying because
sometimes I haven't even really had the chance to really eat my food because they come over and ask, how's everything over here? That's crazy. I just, nah, man, nah. Oh, look at the cat. They sick.
Just wanna enjoy my meal and have a nice conversation with whoever I'm with If I need you, I'll just put up my hand and tell
Exactly.
you if I need anything. Meanwhile, in retail, a lot of the time, if you work in some major department store, you're forced to try and sell their credit cards to customers even though neither you nor them give two shits about it. The business and services in the US are quite efficient, especially compared to Eastern Europe, but the work culture is a bit toxic and quite stressful, which overall makes it quite a bad experience.
Oh, shit, Cook. Goddamn. Oh, shit, soda, Cook.
Oh,
Hey, Cook, we got the
Phillips.
goddamn miniature car here, soda.
I'm European, you knew this was coming. I know you've heard this criticism a million times by European liberals who have EU flags next to their name on Twitter and revel in the smell of their own farts. However, again, it's my video and I can bitch all I want.
Let's
Anyways,
go.
the vast majority of cities in America are car-centric by design. If you want to go do anything, you gotta sit in the car, otherwise prepare to walk 30 to 40 minutes to the nearest grocery store. This aspect in particular can be quite a pain in the ass, especially if you're not old enough to drive or can't afford a second car in your household. Yeah, there usually exists a bus system, but the bus usually comes every 20 minutes, and because the cities
No.
are so spread out, a lot of the time
Honestly,
you have to switch
buses are
buses,
OP.
which can take quite a bit of time to get to your desired destination. Still, beats walking, but again, not ideal. Also, it can
Because
also...
from what I hear, like chat, I remember, I was a tiny child and I was watching cartoons, and obviously cartoons are mostly American made, and in a lot of them, people would get made fun of for taking the bus. Like, it would be a thing that, like, oh, someone didn't come to pick you up, so you have to take the bus. Tom, tom, tom. And then they would take the bus, and it would be, like, the most decrepit thing ever. And then people would be like, oh my god, you're in a bus? You know? Like, it was, like, supposedly, like, it was treated as, like, a horrible thing. And I was like, wait, what? But, like, taking the bus is normal. Everyone does it. Yeah.
be quite of an inconvenience and even dangerous if you decide to go out to a bar with friends, because you have to drive back home. Getting drunk at a bar can end in several ways. Number one person is designated as the designated driver and can't join the fun. Number two, you have to call a taxi/Uber to take you home and spend a chunk of change on that. Or number three, run the risk of drunk driving, which can endanger you and especially others. Because of this, in the rural areas, drunk driving is a particular issue. What really sucks about this is that not all parts of the city are like this.
Chad,
In the-
you don't have to arrest the drunk drivers. Just the drunk crashers are a problem, Chad. Really, if you think about it, it's the drunk crashers that are causing all the issues.
older historic parts, the walkability still exists, as there are mixed commercial and housing zones. However, a lot of this housing is single-family homes, which were great up until World War II, but after the baby boom, the new populace was forced out into the suburbs and by default condemned to the car. Also, cities like New York and San Francisco are extremely walkable and prove that such a system can exist in the country. A lot of people also really advocate
Jesus
for this.
Christ, this is dystopian. The way these blocks of houses look with little to no vegetation, it's just looking dystopian to me. I don't know. It looks so weird.
Zoning laws to change and for more dense housing to be built to allow for this change. However, the same people, when faced with having the zones in their neighborhood be built, suddenly become NIMBYs and completely backtrack. Overall, this was quite frustrating at times and definitely not something I miss. Last but not least, we have the cities themselves. Of course, America again being a
American
large and
cities
diverse
do
country
look like
in
the
almost
most
every
city
aspect
cities.
possible.
Like, when I think of a city, I don't even think of Bucharest. I think of an American city, even though I've never been there.
Also has a variety of interesting and amusing cities to live in and visit. However, the majority of the cities and towns outside of either the coasts are practically copy-pasted and extremely boring. The architecture is quite uninspiring, being either your modern glass skyscrapers or basic single-family houses. If you're in a more chic neighborhood with cafes and artisan shops, practically every building looks like a Minecraft house except with a brick exterior
do look
instead
like
of
a Minecraft
wood.
houses.
In addition to this, unlike
just
many
squares.
European cities where you can walk around and do a lot of activities for free or for a very low cost, in the majority of the cities in the US, the majority of the entertainment has to be paid for. Sure, you can walk around downtown and the park, but again, because the architecture is so uninspiring, this gets old pretty fast. And yeah, those would be some of the things that grind my gears about living in America. It certainly wasn't the lifestyle choice for me, but it is for many others. Let me know what you think. What aspects of living in the US
So
do you
I was
not
thinking
like?
to move to
Which do
America
you
maybe
like?
one day because
Let me know in the comment
the
section down below.
European time
And
zone
as
kind of
always, thank you
sucks
to the
for
lovely people who
streaming, Chad. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I want to collab with people, it's like 2 a.m. for me. And then I'm literally dead.